Now we're beginning the report, Strategy of the Development of the System of the Ensuring Uniformity of Measurements in Russian Federation. Buenos días, estimados colegas. A few words about the speaker. I would like to say that all the text on the slides is presented very well. The letters is big enough, and I will try to do my best to avoid reading the slides. I will only emphasize the most important information, which I consider to be very essential for the understanding the topic. So the most important information here that I worked as the member of the International Committee of Weight and Measures for 8 years. And also I was among the team of the authors of the strategy for the ensuring uniformity of measurements until 2025. About the strategy, what the strategy is. Here on this slide, I gave the most actual, to my point of view, definition of the strategies and concerning the strategy, some applications. When you are going to elaborate the strategy, it is necessary to study the experience of your predecessors, which I advised to use the experience of such most leading metrology institutes of the world, and especially the Bureau of Weights and Measures. The Bureau of Weights and Measures. In the websites of these institutions, you can find a lot of applications to the strategy, such as vision, mission, somewhere values, policy, and especially I advise to pay attention to the policy of the quality of measurement system, because it will be necessary to elaborate such a policy when you are going to be that your system of the quality of measurement should be approved by the international organizations in order to take part in the arrangement CIPM array, and in order to get your calibration and measurement capabilities. About the strategy, on the websites, different organizations, the strategy usually concerned with some scientific items, some development of the scientific topics and goals, but do not concern the systematic development of the whole system. Another situation in Russian Federation, because we have well-developed bureaucratic system based on the system of the different government acts, and the main of them is the Federal Law 172, and laying below different acts of government and acts of ministries. And together they form the basis of the number of rules, procedures to form the strategy. It also based on a big research work. In 2015, it was the work of the Metrological Academy, Strategy M, and now because our strategy is expiring soon in 2025, we will elaborate the new strategy. And the basis of the strategy was laid by the research work, the System of 2023, carried out by the Russian Institute of Standardization. We are speaking about the strategy itself, and it is necessary to say a few words about the system of the uniformity of measurements. We will use widely this abbreviation, which is written in the low left corner of the picture, EUM. The system of the uniformity of measurements of Russian Federation has its head government, and then the Ministry of Industry and Trade. For instance, in Germany, the system of the uniformity of measurements belongs to the Ministry of Economy. In different countries, it is different. And the center is the Federal Agency for the Regulating and Metrology, Rosstandart. It contact with the federal state executive bodies, different bodies, and also with the international organizations. It in its basis, the main participants of the system of the uniformity of measurements, it's 3 national metrology institutes, scientific research institute, which keep more than 150 national primary standards. And also very important is the state regional centers of metrology. We have more than 70 federal regions, and in each regions there is usually the state regional center of metrology or its department. The state regional center of metrology is an important element for transferring the value of the unit from the national primary standard to the users, to the customers, facilities, plants, enterprises, in industry, economy, and other. There is also very important for services. First of all, it's Federal Information Fund, FIF, EUM. It's the database which was elaborated on the budget funding, that it belongs to the state and it's free to access and to use. It contains a lot of information about our system of the EUM, the types of the measuring instruments, the number of verifications, the list, not only the list, but the law of different acts, laws, and normative documents, and so on. You can freely access this resource, but it's a pity, but it's only in Russian. The other for services, the first letters SS mean state service. State service of standard reference data contains the most important values of different constants, different very important indicators, and so on, adopted by the state. State service of the standard reference material, it is understandable, it's the service that keep all the activities in the field of the standard reference material. And state service for time and frequency is very important for us, because Russian Federation is one of the few countries which keep and operate the global navigational satellite system, our system called GLONASS. It looks very similar to GPS, and these two systems mainly support all the needs of all the citizens in the world, all the services in the world, which need to know their location on the surface of the Earth. And below them, the so-called meteorological meteorological bodies. It's the meteorological services of the different plants, facilities, fabrics, firms, and so on and so on. everything which work in the industry and economy and which is necessary to provide their measuring instruments to work properly. So now we understood what is strategy, what is the system of the uniformity of measurements, and now the approach for the elaborating the strategy is the combination of concept and priorities of social and economic development. Priorities of the social and economic development are usually provided by the President of Russian Federation. On last elections, which was in March 2024, the elected president, Vladimir Putin, have several speeches and several acts where he declared the national goals, the national strategies, and the national projects, where he explained the priorities of the social economic development. And what is the concept? The concept is the following. The system of the uniformity, ensuring the uniformity of measurement, do not manufacture the material goods itself, but it's impossible to manufacture any goods without the measurement and without the system of the uniformity of measurement. There are several systems such as communications, transport, energy supply, and so on, without which the economy could not work. One of that systems, which also afford the previous about what I have said, is the system of the EUM. Next picture. So concerning the national priorities, there are several groups. First of which is economic priorities. It seems that the main sense of these priorities is that Russian Federation should be among the leaders of the industrially developed countries. International priorities. The international situation is still complicated, and it is very important to create the manufacturing chains and the relationships only among the countries which is friendly to Russian Federation. So very important national priorities concern the popular preservation, human health and well-being. Next picture, continuing this human potential, comfortable and safe living environment. It seems it is not necessary to explain. It is presented here. The technological sovereignty and technological priorities. It is necessary to achieve national sovereignty because the different cooperation is now with the industrially developed countries is not reliable. And the last, digital transformation. It is very important direction of the development of the economy, and Russia here is among the leaders, and it is necessary to keep this development and not to stop the speed of this development. Next one. Using the concept and the priorities, we can formulate the goals of the strategy of 2025. The goals of the strategy of 2035 should be mostly the similar, but it will differ. Now it is not. Now it is just elaborating yet. So the goal is that system of the EUM should afford should be the similar to the systems of the EUM among the leaders of these the countries who are industrially developed. It should make the conditions and support for building the innovative economy in Russian Federation. and it should afford the full metrological support for the measurements which lay in the sphere of state regulations of the EUM. A few words about the sphere of the state regulation of the EUM. We have the federal law number 102. Here is the cover of the law in Russian. And I have provided the text of this law in English for your colleagues. And there is in this law the two very important notions, the sphere of state regulations and the form of state regulation. What is it? In the Article 1, Part 3, there is listed the kinds of activities which refer to the sphere of state regulation, healthcare, environment, and so on, trade, etc. Approximately there are 19 kinds of activities. It's easier to list the kind of activities which do not belong to this sphere, so-called voluntary sphere. It's industrial manufacturing, education, scientific research, and personal use. Personal use, it's except the measurement means the meters of the energy resources used by the citizens. It's gas, hot, cold water, electricity. These procedures, these meters, these instruments also belongs to the sphere of state regulating. And Article 11 formulates the forms of state regulation. It's approval of the type of CRM and type of measuring instrument, verification, certification of measurement methods, metrological expertise, and accreditation for the right to make works and services in the field of the EUM. So all the measuring instruments which use in the sphere of state regulating, their types should be approved and they should come through the verification procedure. So using this approach, we can elaborate the tasks, the development tasks of the our strategy. We have formulated the goals, we have formulated the priorities of the social and economic development, and another factor is the system problems of the EUM, which comes from the assessment of the current state of the system. And when we combine all these three factors, we can formulate the actions for the implementation of the strategy. Next picture shows the current state. Of course, in 2015, when the strategy was elaborated, the state of the system was not so maybe to say such beautiful, but also was very good. It's the main indicators, and you can see it. What is important? The number of the measurement and calibration capabilities. Now, Russian Federation have the second place. A few years ago, we had the first place, but China overcome us. Now we have the second place after China. On the third place is the United States. So next picture, it's the priorities of social and economic development, which mostly concern the EUM system. EUM system. What is here important? I think everything is clear. That is the factors which concern our system. And the analysis shows what was the system problems of the EUM. You also see here these system problems. We have 5 big system problems. To my point of view, the most important is the 5th, is the last. It is very difficult to prepare. It needs years of the concentrated work to prepare the staff of highest qualification. I mean PhD and Doctor of Sciences. What else? It also the priorities of the development of the EUM, which corresponds to national priorities. It's also similar, maybe somehow similar to the previous picture. Yes, and here we also see the improvement of the supervision. It's the metrological control of the using the metrological types, the metrological, the kind of proper work, the good metrological practice in different facilities and enterprises. And that, according to the previous picture, helps us, give us the possibility to formulate the tasks of the developing of the EUM system. On this picture is given the 5 tasks. I think all these tasks is clear, and I don't know to what point your attention. The next picture is also continue the tasks, and also these tasks is very clear and understandable, and go logically from the previous factors. And how these tasks should be formalized. Here we have the actions, which is directed for fulfilling the tasks. According to the actions, could be formulated or elaborated the strategy roadmap. The roadmap is based on the resources which we can direct for this work. And also actions can formulate the... Что? Блин, почему? Нет, все нормально. Может, у тебя звук выключился? Sorry, by the technical aspects, I will repeat the text of this slide. Implementation of the tasks of the strategy. Actions of the strategy which are directed for the... Что? Actions are directed, are aims for the fulfilling the tasks, and they help us to formulate the document, the strategy roadmap. The strategy roadmap is formulated, created based on the resources, and also the actions should give the table of the indicators of the state of the EUM system. And the indicators, together with the results of the roadmap, may lead us to the performance assessment of the actions planned by the roadmap and the indicators, and leads to some measurement decisions. And what activities what activities planned for the implementation of the strategy? The activities is given here, and the creation of the mechanism of the forecasting of the needs of metrology. It is important to say that metrology and the system of the ensuring the uniformity of measurements should be developed before the development of the economy and industry in whole, because the measurements, their work of the measuring instruments and the results of the measurements are, it is necessary to have it before even the beginning of each development. So it should go ahead before the development of the industry, economy, and everything. So we need the prognosis, the well-detailed prognosis of the needs in measurement and the results of the measurement, the accuracy and other, the kinds of measurement and so on. The development of the base of the primary reference standards. It is, we get for the international cooperation, for the international trade, and for the international conformity assessment system. We need to take part in the international comparison of the primary national standards. And it is necessary to have the system of the national primary standard based on this on the SI system and based on the system the new modified SI system. Its basic value units is based on the natural and fundamental constants. It was the decision of the 26th International Conference on Weights and Measures, which take part in 2018. So all the primary national standards which reproduce the basic SI units should be based on these principles. And it is necessary to modify for each industrially developed countries, it is necessary to modify the base of the primary national standards in order to take part in the international comparison. So updating the legislation, the changing in the economy and in the society development take place, and it is necessary to update the legislation support of the metrology. Development of the surfaces, everything is clear. So our services should deliver the data, should deliver the services, should deliver their work, which is necessary for the current state of the development of economy, technology, and so on. Informatization and automation, it's the magistral way for developing our industry, worldwide industry, and also metrological supervision. Also, it's solving the staff problems and improving the international activities. Also, it is very clear and understandable activities. So when we formulate it and include everything in one book, it was well developed, well done, and it was adopted by the act of the government. Here is the screenshot. It is seen that it was signed by the chairman of the government. At that time, it was Dmitry Medvedev. And after that, there was elaborated their plan, which also was adopted by the government. You can see the columns of this plan, the name of the activity, the responsible body, the date, the type of the document, which should be elaborated, and the result. It has not much points, and it is also was adopted, as I have said already, by the government act. And much more detailed was the roadmap of the ministry. You can see here the number of the activity, the result, due date, but here is responsible not the governmental body, but the concrete institute or other facility, and also here is written the customer. And it has much more items, the big items and sub-items, which describe the details of fulfilling this act. Even we have elaborated the Gantt diagram for fulfilling this roadmap. It contains much more points. I also presented here only the first page of this roadmap. And very important, the system of the parameters of the indicators. We have three groups of the indicators, and these indicators describe the state of the EUM system. I even don't know what to comment here. You can see the column, the actual state, the number of the values, and what is playing through the years, and what we will have till 2025. For instance, the level of the provision in the measurement standards, procedures, and so on will be 97%. So fully developed system. And for reference materials, only 75%. So we remain some space for working. Reduction of the costs and so on. Next page, another parameters. The parameters characterizing and also the satisfaction, group 1, accessibility of the information, provision of the metrological services for our far away distant regions, and so on. The next, group 2, the parameters characterizing the level of the development of the EUM system itself. Number of the improved or newly established primary national standards, and so on. Number of types of reference materials, approximately 14,000. Next, it's continuation. The parameter number 6 is we don't know how to estimate it when we elaborate the strategy, and we understand how to estimate it just recently. So we propose to exclude it, but it was not excluded, and these values are not correct. That's also what is the last picture. The last picture is the monitoring of the implementation of the strategy. According to the law, each branch of industry, each federal government body which elaborate the strategy should prepare the report concerning the fulfilling of the strategy and transfer it to the Ministry of Economy. The Ministry of Economy make the general report and present it to the government. So we also make the reports and send it to the Ministry of Economy, where we propose different corrections for the strategy. But we don't know the result. Maybe the Minister of Economy wasn't very accurate about this. So there are two branches: tasks, activities, and plan indicators. And then resources, actual activities, and actual indicators which were evaluated during the monitoring. And then was carried out the compliance analysis. If everything okay and in compliance, we continue our activities and fulfilling it. If no, if we see some non-compliance, we should make corrections, or we should add or reduce the resources, or we should change the tasks in the strategy. This mechanism is normal, nothing bad if some indicators could not be fulfilled. The main task is to understand the reasons of this phenomena and to make the proper corrections procedures. That's how it works, and we hope that next year we should carry out the last monitoring of our strategy, and simultaneously we will work a new strategy based on the last and the most actual national priorities, conditions, resources, and needs of our economy in accurate and reliable measurements. That's all. Thank you for your attention, and I'm ready to answer all your questions. Так, не знаю. Нет, нормально, я уложился. Даже... А? Да, иначе я ничего не видел. Так, Андрей, вы здесь? Андрей? Да, Андрей, доброй ночи. Ну чего, идет запись еще? Я закончил. Да что, заснули, разбудил? Ну да, вроде все записал. Так, ну что, выходить или как?